Hello, everybody. This is Eric Apricot. I have a lot of requests from viewers to do a beginner's guide to basketball terms and concepts, so I'm going to carry that out by analyzing some interesting plays from the new franchise, the Golden State Valkyries. And what better way to start than by analyzing the most exciting sequence in franchise history. Of course, they've only played one game. It looked like the Sparks were going to run away with the game, and Julie Vanloo exploded for 9 points in 1 game minute. Usually, a prepared set defender can harass you into missing your shot. So in this play, Vanloo uses her dribble to get her defender off balance and out of position. Julie is 5'8", being guarded by Barker, who is 6'0". In general, if your defender is taller, then it's easier for them to block your shot, but they also tend to be slower than you. So Vanloo is threatening to just outrace Barker to the basket, which makes Barker turn to go into a full sprint to keep up. And now Julie wants to exploit the fact that human beings have a front and a back, and the front is good for things like seeing and blocking shots with your arms, and the back is bad for those things. So Julie immediately dribbles towards Barker's back, and when Barker finally turns to face her, now her back is facing this way, so Vanloo wants to go in this direction, and she pulls this off with this gorgeous between the legs dribble, which puts the ball right in her shooting pocket. Barker's momentum has taken her just out of position, and she does a heroic job to contest this, but too much space. Some players can break down a defense with just by using their dribble, but it's tiring and statistically not as efficient as some other options. Another way to attack a defense is to use a screen. A screen is when you stand in the way of a defender. Here's an example from the Warriors. Steph is going to pass the ball to Jimmy Butler here, but watch what Steph does when he's off ball. He's going to run into the middle here. Draymond is going to stand in the way and set a screen, and then Steph is going to run and try to make his defender run into the screen. When you move without the ball, it's called a cut or cutting, and this is what's called a flare cut. Steph is moving away from the ball to another spot on the perimeter. And because Draymond's screen is helping the flare cut, it's called a flare screen. So back to the Valkyries game. The Valkyries run the same play. Vanloo enters the pass. Billings is going to step up and set this flare screen to support Julie Vanloo's flare cut, and the pass will go over the top.
Approaching 2 minutes remaining in the third. Vanloo's hit back-to-back threes. Oh! 3 straight for Vanloo!
There's some subtlety to running this play. After Vanloo passes the ball, the defender, Kelsey Plum, is going to get physical and try to stop Vanloo from cutting wherever she's going. But instead of going around, she leans into it. Is this like 2 pedestrians on the sidewalk and no one wants to move out of the way? When she crashes into Plum, she knows by Newton's laws of mechanics that's going to send Plum in that direction, and it's going to bounce Vanloo in the other direction, which creates a separation so that she can flare out, and Billings can set this really nice flare screen. Plum gamely tries to stay with Vanloo, but the suave little ball fake gets her enough separation to launch another 3. So let's briefly describe the geography of the basketball court. This is the baseline, this is the sideline. Everything in the direction of the baseline is down, and everything away from it is up. So this is considered the top of the court, and the ball handler's up top. These areas are called the corners. Makes sense. These areas are called the elbows. They kind of look like elbows. I don't know if you've noticed, but each of these plays starts off with the same formation called horns. I have no idea why it's called horns, but you have 2 smaller players in the corners, 2 bigs at the elbows, and the ball is up top. You may remember last play that Vanloo passed the ball to this elbow and then did this flare cut and got this flare screen. Fagbenle is holding out her arm, ready to receive the entry pass, but pro defenses adjust quickly, and here she's getting pressured by her defender, and Kelsey Plum has been burned a few times in a row, so she's giving Vanloo no space at all. She's worse than a toxic friend. Temi Fagbenle still waiting for the entry pass. Well, Vanloo decides this play is broken, and since Kelsey Plum is overplaying on this side to stop the entry pass, I'm going to go the other way. Julie Vanloo, the goddess of chaos. Good chaos for a few plays, and this play is, chaotic neutral? Ball slips away. Fagbenle still patiently waiting for the entry. Some say a shadowy figure still holds her arm out to this very day. So Vanloo and Billings improvise the most common play in basketball, called the screen and roll or pick and roll. Pick is just another name for screen. In the pick and roll, Billings sets a screen, Vanloo dribbles around the screen, and her defender ideally will run into the screen, and Vanloo's going to be open for a three-point shot. This is technically a dribble handoff. Vanloo's going to pass the ball over, and Billings is going to hand the ball off and instantly set the screen. So you get the same effect as a pick and roll. Plum has to go the long way around the screen, which means Billings' defender has to help out on Vanloo, and it'll be too late. She has space to fire off this heat check. She's actually fated to miss this shot. The scientific experiment does not confirm the heat. Sorry, Julie. Let's turn our attention to Billings. She sets the screen, and then she cuts towards the basket, and that's called a roll. So that's the roll part of the pick and roll. Now, once the ball is in the air, a disciplined defense is taught to get their bodies between their assignment and the basket. This is called boxing out. And here, all the Sparks are boxing out their assignment except for Billings' defender, who had to jump out to contest this three, which means Billings can hustle her way all the way to the basket without getting boxed out. And look at this sweet putback. To wrap up, let's look at the first play in this whole sequence. Pop quiz, do you remember what this formation is called? This is called horns, smalls in the corners, bigs at the elbows, and the ball up top. There's an entry pass to this elbow. Here, Fagbenle tries to do a surprise cut to the basket, often called a backdoor cut, but her defender stays nicely with her. Carla Leite is going to step up and receive the ball. They set up for a pick and roll, where Temi is going to set a screen, and then Leite is going to threaten to run her defender right into the screen. Because the pick and roll is so common, every basketball defense has a plan about how they want to defend pick and rolls. The Sparks pull out a sophisticated scheme called ice. The defender jumps over in this exaggerated way to completely stop Leite from going in the direction of the screen, which we call taking the screen, accepting the screen, using the screen. Now, isn't that dangerous to just be overplaying so hard? Won't Leite go straight to the basket? Well, that's only half of the ice defense. The other half is that the defender of the screener positions herself in anticipation that Leite will drive right into her. Interestingly, Leite says, all right, I accept the challenge, and she drives right into the dropped back big. Leite's defender's following her. The dropped big is containing her drive. Anytime you have two defenders guarding one attacker, the defense is broken, and it becomes a race between the offense, who's going to try to get the ball to the open player, and the defense, which is going to try to recover so that everyone is guarded. Vanloo knows that she's open and she's going to get this ball. Leite passes it to Temi. Fagbenle instantly swing the ball to Vanloo. Plum goes for broke, diving to intercept this pass, just misses. As this ball goes through, Dearica Hamby sprints, and as she disappears off camera, she's beating the entire Valkyries team down court. But luckily, Fagbenle sees this happening, and she also hits her turbo button and catches up just enough to stop this touchdown pass from connecting. Incredible defensive play, and this is where we came in. Let's wrap up with our traditional celebration audit. We'll use our advanced lip reading technology. After the big basket, Vanloo yells, "Speculoos," and Billings says, "Homemade? I'm in. I got you." What better way to celebrate a spectacular play than some yummy speculoos? A spiced biscuit from Vanloo's home country of Belgium. Cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger. That's the new franchise smell. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if you didn't enjoy this video, I promise I'll do better next time.
Yeah, it was an awesome moment. Right before I took those, or I had that little moment, I saw Steph Curry. And I don't know, it just kind of like, I just kind of got hyped. I was like, oh my God, Steph Curry's here. I'm like, let me show him something. And no, I'm just kidding. I mean, it was a boost, but anyways, I just played my game. But yeah, it's true. It was an amazing moment. The crowd was amazing. It just goes through your veins, through your whole body. So yeah, it was a special moment. But you know, I'm hard on myself. I know that tonight I'm not gonna think about those threes. I'm gonna think about the 6 turnovers I did, because I'm a point guard. I cannot have 6 turnovers, and I know what I have to work on. It's a new team, so that's why sometimes it was a bit messy, my passes. But so yeah, it was a good moment, but I need to learn from my mistakes.